Okay, I think my definition of personality is wrong. So just correct. Like, what is the exact, like, what do you define? How do you define a personality of a person? Like, how do you go about that? What do you call personality?
A personality is the specific characteristics, behavior that a person exhibits, which characterize him or her. And it could be a group of characteristics, a group of behavior that specifically describes you. So that is personality.
Okay, understood. So, okay, what about like having influence of other people? Let's say I like those kind of influences factor, like a social proof, like social triggers that we have, like that does that like influence like how we groom as a person? Like, and obviously like, personality is not going to change, but like grooming as a person, like developing overall behavioral habits. What about that?
Yes, definitely it grooms you, it shapes you as a person. Let's say that you're seeing your mother, your uncle, or somebody being very patient. So that is some characteristic that you're going to imbibe, to be able to be tolerant of other people. So those are characteristics that you're going to imbibe. You might be a very aggressive person, you might be very short tempered, but by seeing somebody, when they keep telling you, no, calm down, think twice before you talk anything. So those are things that you're going to, if not consciously, at least subconsciously, you're going to try to emulate them. But we want you to do it consciously, not get angry, not go and jump on people just because you get angry, not road rage. So unless you're taught as a child that you need to control this, you need, so first is that you need to identify what your personality is, what your triggers are, what your feelings are, what your emotions are.
Yeah,
And then only you'll be able to say, oh, this is what I'm feeling, so I shouldn't be feeling like this, I should be able to control it better. What can I do to control it? So that's a specific way that we are going to deal with that.
absolutely. Okay, this is like a very vast topic as well, like having a, like
Yeah,
developing
yeah.
like for sure. I think that's why they say like you are like how you surround yourself with people, like what kind of people that you surround yourself with,
Yeah.
you that
Birds
does
of a feather flock together. Yeah, you are whom you're surrounded with. Yeah.
absolutely.
If I may, do I have time to tell you a short story?
Yeah, yeah, I would love that. I would love that. That's not an issue at all. Time's not not an issue with me. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm sure you must have heard of sage Vishwamitra.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's mentioned about in our Puranas, in our ancient texts and everything. Yeah. Yeah. So Vishwamitra was initially a Raja. He was a king. So he was a very passionate and very aggressive Raja. So he was not a Brahmana. He was a Kshatriya. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was always in awe of Vasishta. So sage Vasishta is considered to be the first Brahma Rishi,
Okay.
the most evolved of the Brahma Rishis. So a Brahma
Mm-hmm.
Rishi is one who is a Rishi among the Rishis, whom the Rishis look up to because of his level of evolution, because of what he has attained through his meditation practices and all that, the siddhi that he has and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
none of it is for show, none of it is for showing of power or anything, but it's just that because of that attainment, that evolution of that being, he attains that seat of a Brahma Rishi.
Okay.
And Brahma Rishis are all again, it's a like how we have ministers and so on. It's a position.
Mm-hmm.
So then Vishwamitra felt that, why can't I become a Brahma Rishi? I'm also going to be like this. I'm also going to do like that. And then, but he was a very angry kind of a person. So we have all heard of the story, stories when, Vishwamitra is considered to be one of the most angriest of sages. At the drop of a hat, he used to give, curses and things like that. Yeah. Yeah. So then he wanted to become a Brahma Rishi. So then what he did was that he said, okay, I'm going to become a Brahma Rishi. And then he gave up his, Raja. He said somebody else is going to, I'm cutting short the story and making it very specific to what discussion we had.
Mm-hmm.
So he said, I'm going to give away my kingdom and let somebody else rule. I'm going to become a Brahma Rishi, he said. And then he went and he did tapas for 1,000 years. So at that point of time, in those ages, in Satya Yuga and all that, people were alive for that many, years. That's what
Yeah.
the classical texts talk about. So I don't want to get into an argument whether it was real or it was,
Yeah,
more
that's
to
fine.
do with. Yeah, I'm not getting into that. That's a completely different discussion. So the Vishwamitra went and did tapas for and meditation for 1,000 years, and then he came back, and then he had evolved, no doubt. I mean, if you can sit and do tapas for 1,000 years, it's really a different level itself.
Absolutely.
We all can't sit and do for 5 minutes continuously. So, 1,000 years is really like the ultimate. So, and then he came back, and then something triggered, and he got very angry and he cursed somebody. At that instant, he realized that everything went down the drain. So, the minute you get angry, that entire 1,000 years of tapas was just doing homa with water, like that. Homa and havan is usually done with ghee. Instead of that, if you put water, there's nothing. You're just dissolving the
Yeah.
entire thing. So that's what it was. And then he said, what is this? I have lost my entire status because I got angry. No, I'm going to go back and do tapas for another 1,000 years. So that he went back, and
Okay.
he did. So, but that is, his nature was to get angry.
Yeah.
So even
Understood.
if he did tapas for 1,000 years, at one point he got angry, he lost his temper, and he gave, cursed the person he was with. So that is the power of nature. What you can do is control it with conscious effort, modify it, but with conscious, constant effort. So that's,
So
nature and
basically,
nurture.
yeah, the core nature of a person doesn't change with like even the influence of other people. Just we just kind of like control it for like temporary basis, or like just like modulate it on different level, I would say.
Modulated. So we need to look for methods that we can, which will help us to relieve of that anger. So it could be clay. You have lots of these plasticine and clay that people use to, you squeeze that and your anger goes. That when you're using that,
Okay.
and then you go out and, play football, you play something, you're jumping. So that exertion is going to relieve you of that stress, of that anger, things like that. So we use this constantly with, little children, when we're trying to get them to help them with their angers and with their emotions and so on. So there's lots of things that can be done. So, but this is one of them.
Look, I think that this is where that part does come back, that having a right person, like a spouse, like having a core members in the family that are compatible and help
Yes.
you modulate these things and help you like keep everything under control, I would say, are
Yeah.
crucial basically.
Yeah. Support you in your emotions and your journey. That's very
Yeah,
important.
that's emotional compatibility, and having a better emotional quotient is critical, I would say.
Very important. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, what's your take on emotional quotient? Let's say if going to like a corporate life, having being a person who has like a good emotional quotient versus hiring a person who has a good intelligent quotient. So, what would you say is a better fit in a usually in a company, corporate life, basically?
Yeah. So people are intelligent. Some people more intelligent, some people are more practical intelligence rather than book intelligence. So all of us have that level, basic level, because we are all educated. We have a basic degree and a graduation, without which you cannot, without intelligence, you cannot do those things. So that basic intelligence is there in people. But what is important is your emotional intelligence. Are you able to understand another person's emotions? Are you able to empathize with the difficulty that the person is having in certain job roles or to execute certain things? Are you able to stand in another person's shoes and see how it is affecting them? Or are you going to just scream and shout at a person because it was not done the way that you wanted it to be done? Nobody can do things the way I want it to be done. Only I can do what I want to be done. I can train somebody, but they're definitely going to bring in their own flavor, their own experiences to the job, and which is important, which is necessary, because that's where diversity comes in. That's where you want to bring in different kinds of thought, different kinds of actions, different kinds of meanings, which gives you that richness in life. So, and coming back to the corporate world, if I'm not emotionally intelligent, I'm going to be very ignorant of what is happening around me. I need to see and understand another person's emotions and problems and difficulties. And that can only happen if I'm emotionally aware. I'm not even going to talk about intelligence because I don't think that is anything related to intelligence. It's about being able to touch your own emotions, being able to understand, identify and understand your own emotions and the other person's emotions. I think that is very important.
Basically, having empathy, and I would kind of empathy and
Empathy.
gratitude. Yeah,
Yes, not sympathy,
yeah,
but
yeah,
empathy,
yeah, exactly.
definitely. Yeah, yeah,
Okay, let's say if an HR is not trained in psychometrics, they don't have any expertise, and they still want to use like a teeny tiny, like a fraction of it to help them choose like just slightly better like shortlist people. How would you approach that? Any factors that I can, let's say I'm an untrained person in HR and recruiting everything. Let's say if I'm hiring a person, what anything that I can judge on, let's say not judge on, like basically shortlist on, that you would recommend?
yeah. Here I want to highlight one thing which is very unaware in India. Let's say that you have, a wound on your leg. Yeah.
Yeah,
Whom will you go to? Whom will you go to?
a doctor.
Will you go to, on the roads nowadays, you find all these tents with all these quacks who are sitting over there saying that I will cure you of diabetes, I will cure you of this and that. Will you go to somebody like that?
No, 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 absolutely not.
You'll go to a proper medical qualified doctor
Yeah.
to treat you so that you get better. Yeah.
Hmm.
Why is it that, in India, HR, everybody thinks that, just because they've been taught a little bit about psychometrics not even psychometrics, about, recruitment, they decide that they are enough to, go and understand a person's behavior and they are ready to do they're ready to administer psychometric tests. That's illegal. It's really illegal to administer a psychometric test when you're not qualified to do that. Will you go to a quack doctor? Will you take any injection that somebody gives you like that? I'm not a qualified medical doctor. If I just put some concoction together and give it to you as an injection, this is going to help you cure of corona, or it's not going to help you get COVID. It's going to help you to not get COVID. If I say, will you take that injection from me? You will run, you'll report me to the police and you're going to run.
Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
why is it that we are quite fine with anybody who says anything about the psychology, the mind, the mental attitude and things like that? Anybody is she says that he is something, he's crack, okay, so he's crack. Everybody is labeling left, right and center, and that happens because we are not able to see the mind. I'm able to see your leg. I'm able to see your hand. I'm able to see your face to see if you're, hurt anywhere, physically hurt anywhere. And I know that you need to go to a doctor. But people are not able to see the inside, to see the mind because it's a hidden organ.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, but everybody decides that they are an expert in psychology and they're expert in psychometry. They've done one test as a student and they know that, this is it. And that is something that needs to be debunked largely across people, and I think we really need to support people to say that, no, don't do this. Go to a proper qualified person and get that done. But having said that, if you're doing it under the guidance of a psychologist, there are certain pointers you can learn, but still that need to
Okay.
be clarified with a proper psychologist who is qualified to administer psychometric tests. Not everybody is qualified. There are different kinds of psychologists. So only then you're able to say that, yes, I am qualified. There are certain certifications you can do which will help you to become qualified. And then you can take certain pointers for that.
Okay. So basically, sticking towards like what you are good at, and like leaving the this kind of things with to the experts itself, like not interfering with the part, and like
Yeah.
not acting like like even after just reading a book, and like not trying to implement that book in your life. So
Yeah, you can't watch a medical TV serial and say that I'm a doctor. That's what
absolutely.
everybody is doing with psychometry now. And that's very dangerous.
That's like
Frankly,
reading.
very
Yeah.
dangerous.
It's like reading like cookbook and saying like I'm like a world renowned chef now, so I can do anything now. I'm like gotten the.
Correct. Correct. Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, and benefits of like hiring a psychometrist, like a psychologist person to hire people, like hiring in a corporate world, or let's say not just corporate world, let's say in a defense, like any kind of like a domain. So what would you say the benefits are? Like I would say like having a better time. I would say like like saving a lot more time, as well as hiring very a person that is suitable that for your team as well as the role. So anything else that you would like share something?
Yeah. So first is in the defense, they have an entire team, a department of psychologists who are working over there because they have very different needs and necessities,
Absolutely.
compared to what we do in normal scenarios over here. So they're constantly employed. There's an entire department where people are doing a lot of work. Now, when it comes to a corporate scenario, you don't really need to hire a psychologist.
Okay.
So you can ask, like for us, we are not hired by any company.
Okay.
They only use our tests to identify, and then we are
Okay.
always giving them background support so that they can they identify whether this person is suitable or not suitable. We give them written reports, of course, when needed. Otherwise, we tell them orally on emails, whatever, however is comfortable with the client. And we
Hmm.
tell them whom to select, whom not to select, and what are the reasons also. And
Okay.
sometimes we also have clients who come back and tell us that I have all these people. I don't want to let anybody go, but I want to see how I can get the maximum output from all of them. So then
Okay.
what we do is we do the psychometric tests on them, and then we are able to reorganize the entire setup so that the people are able to give them the maximum benefit. So nobody is let go, but they're doing tweaking the job roles a little bit so that it is impacting majorly into the company. The company is happy, the employees are happy, and we are also very happy with that.
Like yeah, like selecting a exact like job role depending upon their personality. Like if they're into more
Yeah,
leadership person, like giving them those kind of thing. So obviously.
correct, exactly.
And how much time does it take? Like if I'm want to like take a psychometric test, and how much time, how long the usually the test is?
So at Swayam, we have two types of tests. We have the short and the long ones, and they're all multiple choice questions. You only need to just go tick tick and then you're done. So the short tests take about 12 to 14 minutes for you to complete, both to
Okay.
put together. Yeah, the long ones, which are principally used for by the coaches and trainers, more in-depth reports, take about 1 hour.
Okay.
They're a
And how
set of
long?
three tests, and they take
Mhm.
about 1 hour.
Okay, they're set off. You're saying something?
Three tests. They're a set
Okay.
of three tests, and it takes about 1 hour for a person to complete. 45 to 50 minutes, but I think 1 hour would be a better range. Yeah.
And how long does it take to like get the results back? Like after like,
Immediately, within
okay,
20
those are like
seconds, the results. Yeah. We've built our own engine, we've built our own algorithm, our software. So we offer it as a SaaS now.
okay, understood. And this okay, it's like
Yeah.
a subscription. They can have like n number of tests purchased from you guys. Like how does it like work? Like exactly?
Yeah. Any company we tie up with, they tell us how many tests they need, and then one test, once it is used, it cannot be reused again, obviously.
Yeah, yeah.
So the login is for only one time, one attempt, that's all. Then depending on the number of logins that they need, we create it and we give it to them. And then
Understood.
once the test reports are done, so we have done it for entire organizations of 100, 150, 200 people and so on. So what we also do is at the back end, we are able to divide the people into different groups based on their personality, and then share the common characteristics. This is especially helpful for training, to identify what kind of training needs to be given to the to the candidate, to the people in the to the employees, I mean. So then we are able to identify the dominant need that is there in the organization, and
Mhm.
then bring in the trainers to give them the training, so it makes it more targeted. They're not losing just by simply doing whatever training you want. It's of no use, no. Rather, you identify the shortcomings in the people and then train them accordingly. So they're obviously going to be able to give better to the company. And you're getting a better ROI on what you're spending on the tests or on the trainers. So
Absolutely.
eventually, everything is going to affect the bottom line of the company.
Absolutely. I would say like having a person who is more fit to do like a particular job would give a better ROI to the company in the long run for
Correct.
sure. And I think they would save a lot of money. Like if a person is
Yes,
fit, if a person is fit, he won't quit easily, and the efficiency of a person would
correct.
amplify.
Yeah, and they are happy doing the job they're doing because they're meant for that job. They're going to stick on. and then they're going to stick on, they're happy and you're also happy. As an employer, you're happy, so you don't mind giving them that extra benefits, wages, higher wages, other perks, and so on. So overall, it builds for a better company and an environment.
Okay, and is there any validity of this test? Like example, if a test take a test today, is it going to be valid for like any particular period of time, or is it like a lifetime kind of assessment?
No, we are. Your personality doesn't change, like we
Yeah.
said, but there is going to be a little bit of modification in your behavior, in your
Mm-hmm.
outlook, and so on. So the reports that we offer, we say that it's valid for 1 year, because post that when we do the evaluation and all that, we notice that there are certain changes in the person, certain behavioral differences are there, which we can track.
Okay, yeah, like depending on their like age, like kind of people they hang out with, like obviously
Yeah,
might vary
yeah,
with time.
yeah.
And I think the
Then
need of a person does change with time as well. Like example, if a person is in
correct.
20s and like depending like he can be like more look like money focused person, like more financial focus, and after like he's like in 40s, he's like more of a person who wants to spend more time with family and like
Family,
work
wants
life
to
balance.
settle down, yeah,
Yeah,
things like that, doesn't want to keep running around all over the country, things like that, yeah, definitely.
yeah. Any, yeah, any like do you have like any preferred uh, test for the kids? Like basically, if we were talking about the kids earlier, like do you have those? What kind of tests do you have for the kids as well?
Yeah, so we have developed these career theme reports for
Mm-hmm.
high school students, because at that age we found that they're extremely confused as to what they need to do after 10th.
After 10th.
Sorry,
Okay.
after 10th, yeah, what course they need to take, whether they need to take science, arts, commerce, something else, and so on. So we found that we did a lot of research on that, especially post COVID. So many things have changed. And so we did some research on that, and we identified some themes, career themes that are there, and what is the kind of job roles that a person is required, job roles that are available in that, what is the kind of personality traits that are required for you to fulfill those job roles. And we have developed our reports based on all these inputs, and we found that that's very useful for students, and we have tried to do it in such a way so that it's you don't need the intervention of a counselor, but if you do want one, we are there, of course, on appointment. We felt that especially in tier 2, tier 3 cities, there is no concept of career guidance, and counselors in India are a very rarefied group, and there is not enough for a population of 1 billion plus people. There are way too less counselors and qualified ones. And we have also noticed that some of these so called counselors are doing more damage than helping the students. So we said that let's make something that you don't need a counselor to come and explain to you. It's in simple English. So we want to make it as hands free as possible. So which is what we have done right now. So, but if they still want to have a chat with us, we are of course open on prior appointment, and we can do that, and we can help them through the reports. But we have made it, democratized it in such a way so that the minute the student takes the test, they can sit with their parents and figure out. We give them 4 options where they can follow, which they can follow, rather than the hundreds that are out there now, and which is very confusing. And then based on that, the person can decide what he wants to do, because after that it's more to do with the parents and what their comfort level is, the socioeconomic status, like am I comfortable sending my child to another city to study? Do I have the economic means that allows me to do that, or a country, and so on. So those kind of things, either which way, we have no role to play in that. So what we have done is to democratize it, and simplify it in such a way that the parents and the student can sit together and figure out what is it that they want the child to do.
Okay,
And I
in
think
these kind of
that's
things,
a
yeah.
great attempt.
Does this parents have to take the test as well, or just are this the
No,
kid are the
no,
one
just
that
the student.
okay?
No, 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 just the student.
Look, I think like after understanding like what these kind of tests are for and like how can they help, I think it should be compulsory like in the school like curriculum to have a test like after 10th and especially
Yeah,
after.
everywhere outside India, it's compulsory. The minute the student is in high school, it's mandatory that the student does a career guidance and a career, the test to identify what or his or her potential is, and what is it that they can do. It's mandatory. It's part of the school curriculum. You're not paying anything extra. But it's only in India that, the school is not doing anything towards this. No schools are doing. Though the government has mandated that there needs to be career guidance, it's just a 1 hour talk that is given by the schools to just say, we have done this also.
Yeah,
Finished. And they
and the
take
one
lots
hour
of
talk, yeah.
photos, they print it in all their publications, and they're done with it. There is
And even that
nothing
one
that
hour
the
talk
school
is
is doing.
addressed to like 100 people sitting in an auditorium and like
Yeah, yeah,
straightforward.
100, 200, 500, they're not bothered. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Absolutely,
Very
I think
true.
this is like as like we discussed, it's just a very personalized thing, and it should be done like a one-on-one thing, like having like a particular
Yeah.
test, like assessment thing. It should be done for sure. Like I'm not.
Yeah, no, it's similar. Like, you get a doctor to assess the child.
Exactly, yeah.
A medical doctor to see whether the child is really growing properly, not growing underweight, overweight, whatever it is. And you get a dentist. Go for an eye checkup. Can you just say, you put 500 people in a room and say, let's check everybody's eyes? Does anybody do that? No, let me just, all of you open your mouth. I'm a dentist and I'm going to check your teeth with 500 people sitting in the room.
Yeah.
Nobody does that. But the minute it's something to do with the mind, you're just clubbed into one room of 500 people, 600 people, 1,000 people auditorium, and you're done with it. How does that work? It just boggles the mind.
Yeah,
It's really
absolutely.
amazing. And people
Totally
lap
agree.
it up. Yeah, and there is no uh, student or parent group that is saying, why the hell aren't you doing something proper for my student, for my child? You have nothing like that happening in India.
I think not just
Yeah.
like in schools, I think even after schools, like in colleges, let's say when a person is looking for a job, even then it comes to like a very crucial role, like selecting what kind of job I should apply for. Even let's say if I'm an engineer, should I
Yeah,
change my domain to like a sales or marketing, or should I like stick to the like what kind of job should I look for? Even then, it
exactly.
matters a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, very true. You're bang on when you say that. So that kind of support system itself is not there in India.
I think that's why like a lot of people like go towards like one career and then like switch their careers. Like even I'm like one of those. Like I was like a software developer for 3 years. I was doing like a desk job, and then suddenly I like changed my career towards like complete marketing, and I was like more of a creative person, and it completely changed. So I think that was one thing that I should have done earlier because I was not aware. But I think I would love to do it for my younger brother, because now I'm like having that much exposure to it, like learning a lot more from you.
Correct.
So I would love to like get it done for my brother as well.
Yeah, and if you go look at yoga teachers, no, I think about 50% or 60% of them are all engineers who have quit their job and come into yoga. I mean, why? I can't understand that at all. You want to do yoga? Totally fine. Do yoga. I mean, teach yoga, no problem. But then why do an engineering course and deprive another student who's more inclined towards it? And that is what is pushing up all these, what is this donation fee for engineering and
Absolutely.
medical colleges? 10 lakhs, 20 lakhs, 50 lakhs, 1 crore. I mean, why the hell? You can't do things like that. And then 4 years later, you quit, and then you become, you become an MC, you become an event planner, you become a yoga teacher. Why do something like that?
Yeah,
It's
I was one
crazy.
of them as well. I did my engineering and then I became a gym trainer. Then I become a software developer, and then I'm in marketing now. So right now I'm
Oh,
like genuinely happy. But yeah, but I have changed my domains a lot. Like from a gym trainer, I was like
yeah.
it was like for fun. Then I did software development because that was my part of my engineering, and it was damn lucrative for me as well. Then like my like I would say my income like went from like like let's say 100 to let's say I would say 20, and then it's like going back back up now. So from changing careers does matter a lot. Like it is like a lot of shift, and like seeing my parents like घर पे क्यों बैठा है, घर पे क्यों बैठा, निकल निकल निकल. So those kind of things does happen with me as well. So
And it's
now,
also very frustrating for the parents to see the child is qualified in something, doing something else, quit there, doing something else. It's very stressful. And for the person also, to say that last year I was doing engineering, now I'm
yeah,
doing yoga, next year I'm going to do marketing. I mean, where is the stability in your life? Yeah, it's
absolutely,
very difficult.
absolutely. But yeah, I think once the person finds what he actually likes or like say is suitable for him, then obviously then he can pursue it more like get more stability.
Correct.
But
And there are
one day
various
goes by.
means you can do, things you can do to earn money, in that same
Yeah,
field only. If you're happy with it, if you're interested in it, you will think of different avenues which you can commercialize it through. But if you're not given that opportunity, then you're stuck in a rut, and
yeah.
that is very dangerous.
So basically, psychometrics would come in handy, like to stop wasting my, let's say, 2 years, 3 years that I did my software development. I think
Yeah.
avoiding that, like
Yeah,
wasting.
it's time, it's that frustration that you have. You might not be able to clear it at one go, the exams, because you're not happy doing it. And then the amount of money that you waste. And then after all this, because of the frustration, I have found that students are getting into different kinds of, dysfunctional behavior. There's a lot of drinking happening. There's a lot of reckless driving that happens. Drinking under you, driving under influence.
Yeah,
So
drugs,
many
like
things
does
that
come
come
in a
into
lot of
play.
this.
Yeah, yeah. And that only happens because you're frustrated. And how do you take it out? Because that's the easiest route. No, drinking, smoking, getting into different kinds of dysfunctional behavior is the easiest things that students can think about.
Absolutely.
So they start doing that, and then lives are ruined because of that.
And I think I'm one of those lucky people who have found what I actually love now. Like even after wasting like
Correct.
2 years, I think majority of the people are stuck and like being frustrated, and they're like imploding and exploding their anger in front of their family, their loved
Yeah,
ones, and obviously that thing does affect a lot with their intimate relationships. Like everything like goes like a downfall, downfall, downfall. It goes into like that.
correct. 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 Very true.
So I think yeah, everyone should take this like these kind of tests like in on a periodic basis. Let's say if after 10th, I would say recommend people to take it in college. Let's say in their final or like whichever the placement year that is. And I think yeah, even after a few years in the job, let's say when they are like going towards like a from a basic level to a managerial role, I think even then these kind of things would come
That
in.
is totally necessary. Yeah. To identify what your difficulties are in going to the next level and receiving the necessary training, coaching, whatever it is, so that you can overcome those inherent problems, or no, I won't even say problems, those inherent roadblocks in your life, in your
Absolutely, yeah.
mental, in your psyche, so that you can perform better. I think that's very important for all of us at every stage in our life, maybe every 10 years or 15 years or something.
I think this is just mainly because of lack of awareness of like what these kind of
Yeah.
things are, and even like knowing that these kind of things are out there. So I think that the awareness needs to like being increased. So I think that's good. Like I have like learned so much in this domain from you right now in like just an hour. It's like
Thank you.
mind-boggling. I would love to like watch this video like in couple of times again to like grasp everything that you've said, even the story from stories
You're
from like.
very easy to talk to, Anchit. So you just kept pulling out information from my mind. So you're very easy to talk to.
I think that is the reason I started the podcast, because I wanted to like basically upskill myself and learn new things. So I started like just reaching out to more people who are like completely different than I am and learn like what they are doing in the field and how are they doing. So it's like a
Yeah.
lovely thing that I like interacting with you and like super happy with it.
Thank you. Even I'm very happy to talk to you today. Thank you so much. It was really wonderful talking to you.
Okay, and for those people who want it, it can be corporate, parents, schools, like if they want to reach out to you, like hire you and like hire Swayam Analytics, how would you any email IDs, website, can you just mention those?
Sure. I can share all my website link, which you can put it up over
Yeah,
here.
absolutely. I'll
And
absolutely send that.
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah. Support at swayam.life. So they can reach out to us, and immediately within a few hours, we'll get back to them.
okay, and I think I was like connected with you on LinkedIn, so I think hopefully they can connect you on the LinkedIn as well.
Sure, LinkedIn, I'm very active. We have a presence in Facebook, LinkedIn, Insta, all over the
Okay.
place.
Okay, I'll mention all those like banners and everything in the below of the video as well, and in the
Sure.
description as
Yeah. Thank you so much. And I
well.
would invite you to, take a test yourself and feel the whole thing
I would
yourself if you're
love to do that
interested.
for sure. Actually,
Super.
yeah,
Super. Yeah. Please. I'll
I'll
share
reach out
it
to you, and
offline
not
with
just for
you.
me, and for my brother as well, because he's the
Oh,
one that I.
sure. Of
Yeah.
course.
Okay, done deal,
Of
done,
course.
done,
Done.
done, deal,
Done.
done, done. Okay,
Okay.
Dr. Shilpa, it was lovely, like lovely, 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 like having you on my show. hoping to do this, like I would say, like again in few months. It would be amazing as well.
Sure. It was lovely talking to you too, Anchit. Thank you for reaching out and making this happen. Really, I don't know how, I feel like I know you from so many years. Thank you so much.
Love. Thank you. Honor was honor was all mine. Absolutely.
No, no, definitely not. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Okay, I'll like stop the recording now. If there's
Yeah.
anything